everybody, welcome to Fun Food Friday. Now on today's Fun Food Friday, I'm going to be doing one of my dad's recipes. Now, this I would have to say was during the bad times. It's called hot dog hash. And I had, quite a bit growing up. Hot dogs were cheap. We had potatoes. Because all you need is potatoes, hot dogs, and an onion. And I'm going to show you. Now, when you peel your potatoes, you just want to chunk them up. I peeled them here, so you didn't have to watch me do all that. But right here, and you put them in cold water. And when I make about 5 pounds of potatoes. You can make as much or as little as you want, depending on the amount of potatoes. Because the potatoes is the main ingredient here, not the hot dogs. And I use this here. This is Fenway, 14 ounces, 8 hot dogs. I used them all, but if you didn't have all of these hot dogs, you could use 4 hot dogs and put it in. Just cut the hot dogs smaller. Yes. So, depend what you had in those days. So what you want to do, you want a very good size onion. You don't want a small onion, because the onion is what's going to give these potatoes flavor. I think back in the day, the only spices we had going on was salt, pepper, and bay seasoning. Yeah, I think that was it. That's all I ever saw in the cupboard. I never saw any other kind of seasoning growing up. So, here we go. So with the onion, I'm going to get this part off. I want to get this slimy part off. I don't like that. But anyway, like I said, my dad made this. I grew up eating this. I grew up eating a lot of things that you didn't have to have a lot of money for. So, yeah. So anyway, there wasn't a lot of meat in my family. We did have meat, but not often. Let me put it like that. Let me rinse this onion. Okay. Yeah, we didn't have meat often. All right. So, I'm going to cut this onion. And all you want to do, there's no particular way to do any of this. Just cube your potatoes. Put the water up over the potatoes. You don't want too much water. The more water you put, the longer it's going to take to cook. Make sure the potatoes are washed really well, because you are not going to drain this water. You're going to cook this water down. That's what you're going to do. And I'm going to show you at that point when we get there what can happen when the water starts evaporating or boiling down, whatever. So anyway, I always did it over the pot. Well, there went some onion. It doesn't have to be any particular order, like I said. Just cut it up. Let me get this pot out. Just cut your onion. Like I said, when I made it, I always did it like this. And my sister made it for her kids. I made it for my kids. Now my kids are making it for their kids. My granddaughter Mallory does not like it. I go, you gotta be kidding me. What do you mean she doesn't like it? Everybody likes hot dog hash. And then some people look at you like, what are you talking about? Hot dog hash. We never had that. No, because maybe, you had a little more than what we had. I don't know. But anyway, and that's true. Growing up, when I told kids, that I have hot dog hash, I would get teased a lot about it. So I stopped telling people, when I was young. I was very young. not a teenager or anything, you know, elementary school. And I just stopped telling them what I ate because I would get teased a lot on what I ate. But my family did not have a lot of money. So anyway, that's what you want to do. You want to get a good sized onion in there. I think you can see it right there. That's how you want it. Now your hot dogs. Let me explain this. You want to have a pan with the lid. You're going to need that lid later. Trust me when I tell you. Also, you want, let's see. I don't know if I have it in here. No, I got it in my drawer. You need a potato masher. So, let's get these hot dogs out. If you have small children, you can cut these smaller, you know, because the way I'm cutting them is the way my dad cut them. But that was back in the day, and, you know, they know a lot more now about things than they did back then. But this is the way he cut them. You just cut them in discs, like this. And the thinner you cut it, the more hot dogs are going to be in your hash. So, we didn't have the hot dogs very thick, you know. But if you have little ones that are going to try it, you know, cut it, you know, like that. Cut it smaller. Don't cut it in rounds like this. But, knock on wood, I never had any trouble like that with the, you know, with them being cut this way. And you just want to cut them all up into rounds. And you're not going to cook them ahead of time. Nope. You know what you're going to do? You're going to put it right in there with the potatoes, the onions, and that's it. No spices are going in this. You know, you can salt and pepper it when it's on your plate. But, you know, all my kids like hot dog hash. But like I said, my one granddaughter, she does not. So this is what we're doing. I'm not going to cut them all that thin. There's no need, you know, now to do that. But, and like I said, if you only had 4 hot dogs, cut them thin. And, you know, you don't have to make as much as I make. This has leftovers. This is how I've always made it. I've always made it with a big pot of potatoes, 1 large onion, and a package of hot dogs, and with leftovers. Now it takes a while to cook because you want that water to boil out. That's what you want. Okay. So, there we go. I have about 5 pounds of potatoes in here, guys. And that's what it looks like. And you want the water to cover the potatoes, the onion, and the hot dogs. So, I'm going to put this on the stove. I'm going to put it on high to get it going. And I'm going to let it go on high for a while. I'll come back. I'll bring you over to the stove. And I'll show you how you take care of this while it's cooking. Okay, guys. Okay, everybody. I got you over here at the stove. This is what happens when it's on high. You're going to have to turn the temperature down at this point. At this point, you want to get your masher. Back in the day, we had a metal one. But, yeah, does anybody remember the metal mashers? We didn't have an electric mixer. And you want to stop, like, pushing down. The potatoes are still hard, but you're breaking them up somewhat. You want to stop to break up the potatoes and get this water thicker. The potatoes is going to make the water thicker. I hope I'm explaining that, uh, you know, the right way. I don't know. I never, my kids watched me make it. I never had to like really explain it to anybody. So it's kind of hard. I never shared this recipe outside of the family. Never. People just don't know what you're talking about. But, so anyway, I don't know if you can see, but the reason you want to have the lid, I started it with the lid, but the reason is, and you want to have it tilted, is when the sauce starts, when the water starts to get thick, it's going to start spitting at you, I guess you can call it. But, yeah, so this is the stage where the potatoes are still hard. You can see the hot dog swelled up. And they're still hard. But see how the potatoes, when you do that, you are breaking them up somewhat to make this water thicker. Because you are going to see, it is going to get thick. And I could turn this back up a little bit. And I don't know, I think I said it, but the more water you add, the longer it's going to take to boil down. You want to have enough water in there to cook the potatoes, of course. But you don't want to have so much water where it's going to take a very, very, a long time for the water to boil down. So this is good the way it's boiling now. And the reason I think, I never asked, I always watched my father make it, I never asked the reasoning, that you put it all together at once is so everything picks up the flavor of the onion, the hot dog, and, where where they can mingle together, to make it. You don't have to stand over and watch it either. Like, after you made it a few times, you can kind of sense how every so often you got to come in and use your potato masher, and come down and, like, mash it down. Because the more the potatoes break down, the thicker the water gets, and the closer you are for it to being finished. So we'll let it boil a little bit more. I'm going to show you. If you have the top on, it can boil over, which I did boil over on me. I don't know if you can see it over here. It boiled over somewhat. Oh, over here you can see it. But as it cooks, you can see the water getting thicker, if that makes any sense. And when it's cooking, you can smell the onions. Now, I'm just going in. And see, I still have quite a bit of water in there. The potatoes are getting there. But, all right. So, I'm going to let this boil a little bit more. I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you where we're at. I'm going to let it boil like for another, 5 or 10 minutes. And then I'll show you where we're at. But when you see it start to thicken, that's when you do want to stay over it and you want to keep mashing it when the potatoes get soft. Let me check one more time before I walk away from it. Yeah, see, I still have quite a bit of water in there, so I'm okay leaving it. All right, so I'll be back and when I'm ready to tend to it again. All right. Okay, I'm back. Now, I can see it starting to thicken up. I can tell by the color of the water. It's like this milky color. And so this is where I'm going to start mashing it down. Now, this is where I'm going to take my top, put it on, and turn my heat up to high. And I'll show you. And I do that. When this starts to get thick, it will start spitting and you can get, burnt. So you have to be careful that when you start mashing it, you want to turn that heat down to settle this boiling down. You can kind of hear that it's getting thicker. I don't know. Let me know. Can you notice the change in the sound? Maybe I've been making it so long, I just recognize it as that. Now, on the top here, you can see where it's starting to get thick. See the color of the water? Now, I am going to turn it back down, just so I don't get burnt. And I'm taking the lid off, and I'm going to give it another scoop. It's really not hard, guys. I mean, you just got to get to know, when you want to check it and things like that. So that'll go back on. And I'll turn it back up. I only turn it down when I'm going to fool with it. And when it starts to get thick, that's when you do want to stay with it because you don't want it to burn on the bottom. I think I burnt a hot dog hash once, the whole time that I've been making it, because I didn't stay with it. And to be honest, right here, I added probably more water than I should have. So you want to keep it going at this, That's how the water boils out. Or gets thicker, I should say. Yeah, I can tell I added more water than I should have. All right, so I'm going to let this go. Another, I don't know. I'm going to put the lid on it, turn it up. And I'll come back when we're at that stage. I'll show you. Okay, so here we're at. Look at the cover. See the cover? That tells you that it's getting thicker. So, I already turned the flame down. And here I go back in with my masher. And yeah, it usually takes about a half hour to cook. But like I said, I added more water than was necessary. Let me turn it back up. And like I said, you have to be careful because it does spit, as you can see from the lid. So I'll put the lid back on. We're almost there. You want it just enough to cover your potatoes, to be able to cook your potatoes. You know, I'd say about that much water over. And I probably had about that much. But like I said, the more water you add, the longer it's going to take for it to boil down. And I can tell just by looking in here that it's not thick enough. All right, let me turn that back. And sometimes near the end too, I don't put the cover on it because then it will evaporate more. I haven't made this lately. My son usually makes it. But I wanted to show you. That's why I added too much water. I'm out of practice. And then you just want to like play with it a little bit. Try and bring your potatoes over. And I made a mess of my stovetop too. But like I said, at this point where it's starting to get thick, you have to be very careful. Because as you can see it spitting up, that can get you. I've done that before. All right, we're getting there, guys. We are getting there. Yes, it's starting to thicken now. And then I'm going to plate it up. I'm going to show you, you know, the end result. And show you how we ate it back in the day. See the potatoes, guys? And we are almost there. I'm going to turn it down so I can fool with it. Yeah, see, at this point here is when you don't want to, like, leave it because it is thickening. I don't remember the kind of hot dogs my dad used. But use any kind of hot dog you like because that's part of the fun eating it, is liking what you're liking the hot dog, right? All right, so I am going to turn it off. All righty. So there you go. I turned it off. I'm going to let it sit a minute. I'm going to put it in a bowl and show you what it looks like. But I am going to leave it on there to finish doing its thing. All right, guys, when we come back, we'll be at the table. Okay, everybody, I put it into a bowl. Let me show you. The longer you let it sit, because this is extremely hot, it'll thicken up even more. So don't worry about it if if it's a little loose. Once it's cooled down, you refrigerate it, you have your leftovers, it's going to be thicker. So that's what it looks like. And people eat a hot dog hash and they won't even try it, But guys, it's tasty, it's filling, and look how much it made, right? That made a lot. So you can feed a lot of people with this. And when times are tough and all you have is potatoes and hot dogs, and an onion, use a real onion. Don't use the powder. See, as it's sitting here, you can see the steam coming off of it. It's getting thicker. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it in a clear bowl and show you how we would eat it. Now me, I always liked, believe it or not, the potatoes. Yeah, so I always wanted more potato because that potato with the onion is like really good. So this is what it looks like. And like I said, this will get thicker, as the steam goes down and everything. But that's what it looks like. It smells awesome. I mean, I think so anyway. If you've never tried it, don't, turn your nose up to it until you give it a shot. Like I said, my one granddaughter doesn't care for it, and that's fine. But give it a try and see if it's something you would like. Very, very hot. So we would serve it in a bowl with a spoon. Yeah, we didn't use a fork, with a spoon. So good. Oh, you can taste the onion. This is good. Let me know if you're going to try it. Like I said, if you have young ones, cut the hot dogs really tiny. Because I did them in discs. Because that's the way my dad used to make it. So I was trying to, do what he did. And I would salt it, pepper it, and then we would have bread and butter and a glass of milk. That was it. That was the supper. Yep. And I have more, too, cheap meals that we made just to get by, just to have a full tummy before you went to bed. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to give it a try, or if you ever had have you ever tried this? I don't know. I've never heard anybody make this. Yeah, I never did. And my father made so much with the potatoes and the onions, I can't even tell you. Yes, he made corned beef hash with a can of corned beef. Make it the same way. Dump it in there. Potato, onion, corned beef. Hamburger hash. Yes, same way. Throw raw hamburger. He would put raw hamburger in there. Don't cook it, because that's what gave it the flavor. The fat from the hamburger, right? So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Have a safe day. And until next time, Bye now. Give this video a thumbs up for my dad. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.